Hello and welcome to Who Are You? It's a Babylon 5 watchcast by a couple of former strangers who are now friends and are continuing to get to know each other over one of their favorite shows from their childhood, Babylon 5. I'm Laura.
And I'm Xhafer.
And today we're going to play some plot poker.
Hello. Thought I'd deal myself in.
If you have not heard this segment before, listener, we've got a bunch of packs of the Babylon 5 card game. We're going to open them up. We organize them into separate piles representing characters who the plot centers around, the problem for that character, the solution, and then a twist. Laura and I will each take one of these, use it to craft the A plot and B plot of a hypothetical episode of Babylon 5, and then we will rate that episode on our normal rating scale of Babylon's 1 to 5.
Sometimes we have some real good ones, and sometimes we have some stinkers.
We've had some stinkers, but we've had some good ones. All right, let's get into some packs here.
Yeah, I'm opening my first one now. I don't feel like I've had very good packs the last few episodes, so fingers crossed.
I got Premonition with Londo on the throne. Ooh.
I have the Agamemnon.
Oh.
That's
a rare card, probably.
Impressive ship.
I got the Vorlon Planet Killer.
I feel like that's a problem, right?
I definitely
suppose it could also be a solution.
I definitely put it under problems. Ooh, the Babylon 5 War Council. I feel like that's a solution.
Yeah.
Oh, I got the Pakmara Ambassador.
He could also be a problem. And not just a character. Oh, I got that Gaiam Ambassador. Let's see. I also got the War Council. I can't remember if we've had Unexpected Return where we have nice crispy Morden.
I have not seen that card. Ooh, a peace accord. That's a solution.
I have a card that's called Low Level Conflict. That's a problem, but it's not a big problem.
Yeah, like it's technically a problem.
Yeah.
And Beyond the Rim.
I have a card that says, "You didn't mean that." I like that the bluff card is just Marcus.
It doesn't need to be anything else.
Yeah. Okay, last pack. Let's see what I get. Again, I just don't get very good stuff in this box. I got a dud.
It'll happen. I mean, the game itself is very, diplomatic, intriguey, and that's not, the most exciting stuff to make cards out of.
Yeah. I have a card that's just called Futility. What is that even?
All right. Well, I'm all ready to go, so I'll start reading off this A plot. We open on Lieutenant David Corwin. Hey.
Oh, we haven't gotten him yet. Okay.
That's a fun little episode for him. Maybe a lower decks style of the TNG, not necessarily the animated series, more comedy, but some that focuses on the other people. You know, maybe during a big event, let's see what our problem is. The death of Kosh.
Oh.
Okay. So Corwin is, obviously one of the ambassadors has died. It's a big deal. And most of the senior staff is kind of out handling shit, right?
Sure.
Everyone's meeting in Sheridan's office. Big moves are happening. But, the cargo bays still need to be unloaded. The station still has to run as a place.
Right.
And so Corwin is kind of left in charge as all of our senior staff fucks off to go figure out what the hell is going to happen next. And so there's all kinds of stuff. He's not really directly dealing with the death of Kosh, but that's definitely the prevalent thing that pulls everyone away. And then he finds the answer to his problems, walks into CNC. It is Commander Ivanova returning to take care of shit. And just instantly gets everyone who needed to be talking, handles shit in the way that only she can, and releases Corwin of his burdens of trying to run CNC. And then when we close the episode, 2 credits. We're on Corwin. We're in his quarters. And he has a Vorlon dream.
Oh, spooky.
Now, yeah, just like it's kind of he doesn't really know what to make of it. We might see it and go, this is a be prepared kind of message, but Corwin just does no idea what it means. He's not involved enough in the main plot to understand what's going on.
Right. He's our sweet, sweet good boy.
Mm-hmm.
So we have kind of a little like lower decksy feeling going on following Lieutenant Corwin in the A plot, right? Okay. So in the B plot, we have Adira Tyree. We've seen her card a few times, I think, but we haven't had her in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so it looks like this is sort of a alternate version of what happens with Adira in the series, because in the problems, we've got a Night Watch agent. So this Night Watch agent has been tasked with following Adira and figuring out her role and everything. And this Night Watch agent is trying to stir up trouble because, you know, Night Watch is all about human interest instead of alien interest. Yeah. And so he can stir up some good trouble with the Centauri, can't he?
Yeah.
If he has figured out that Adira is related to Londo as a paramour.
Mm-hmm.
So he exterminates. I have extermination as the card.
Oh. Okay.
Adira Tyree. And this leads to a huge public outcry at the end of the episode, as the relations with the Centauri are in huge danger because Night Watch has been meddling in the Centauri affairs.
Now, trying to make this all work in series canon in my brain meets, knowing that Adira is killed by the shadows, and we see people who are effectively killed by the shadows. Sometimes they aren't all the way dead, you know? So it makes me wonder if Adira is secretly a shadow agent who's come to make sure Londo does what needs to be done or something for Morden's plan. And that this Night Watch person, thinking that they're doing Night Watchy stuff, actually kind of inadvertently saves Londo.
Can you imagine if Adira Tyree showed up the way that Anna Sheridan showed up as a shadow agent?
Right.
How would Londo take that? He would just completely fall for it, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. He would hook, line, and sinker.
All right. Well, that's an episode. I would watch the shit out of this episode.
Yeah.
I think this episode sounds great. I'm here for this app.
I'm always into a good lower decks kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I definitely give this one a 4 out of 5. The way it's playing out in my head right now, I love this episode.
Yeah, I like the spin you put on it of Adira is some kind of shadow agent, because that does make things extra complicated for Londo. Because he was trying to kick himself of Mr. Morden, right?
Yeah.
And if you bring something even more tempting back, he's not going to say no. He's Londo.
He's not, no. All right.
Not bad.
No, I think, it sounds like a good ep. You know, much like the ep we've got today, Season 4, Episode 7, Epiphanies. We open on fireworks. It's a celebration. The Socolo is a jazz club. Hell yeah.
This MIDI jazz. Everyone is rocking out to this MIDI jazz.
Right.
It's not convincing for me, but okay.
You know, you didn't get down on Alexander Zonchek?
Yeah. Did you look through this scene really closely?
No, I would not say that I spent a lot of time on this scene.
I only did because I wound up watching it twice. And if you go through the scene slowly, there's some fun stuff in the background. There's like a Narn lady who is boogieing.
Is there a gorilla bartender?
Oh, I didn't see any gorilla bartender, but I did see 2 monks one monk is like dancing with a lady and another one is like just jamming out by himself. So it's like, well, Brother Theo's monks are still here.
Good for them.
Yeah, and then we go up to Sheridan, who's just watching from the balcony all paternally,
Mm-hmm.
like a good
Delenn
father.
comes up. Yeah. We cut over to Earth after this, to Psi Corps headquarters in Geneva, as we know it is located from our books. And Bester gets the order from, I'm guessing this is the head of Psi Corps?
Yeah, I was wondering, because, since we read our books, right, we know that the head of Psi Corps is a mundane, right?
Yeah.
And they're doing a lot of just, like, mouth talking.
Yes.
If they were two telepaths, do you think we would have, like, them kind of looking at each other and then voiceover instead of talking?
I think with Bester for sure.
Yeah.
Who would have been the leader of Psi Corps at this point? I feel like it's the dude who took over for Bester's dad, right?
Yeah, or grandfather, I think, but
Yeah, that's what it is.
yeah, it's got to be that guy, right? And they didn't get along. No, wait, he killed a guy. He killed that guy
Okay, so
at the end of the last book.
what year is it in story? We're in 2261. Okay.
February to be specific.
So this is Lee Crawford. There's no pictures. There'd be pictures. Kevin Vassett was the guy before.
Uh-huh.
He ran Psi Corps until 2161. So it's whoever took over for him? We don't know.
Well, I thought we killed that guy at the end of the last book, whoever took over for Vassett.
Yes. Yeah, Lee Crawford. Yeah, he dead. And he's dead at the start of Bester's first trip to Babylon 5. So this is somebody else.
Yeah. So, but I feel like this guy has big mundane energy, right? He
For
doesn't
sure.
feel like a telepath.
Yeah.
He's got the badge, the Psi Corps badge on his uniform, but I don't think he's a telepath of any kind. But he's telling Bester that President Clark has decided he wants Babylon 5 shut down for good, and he's got Psi Corps, Earth Force, Night Watch, Ministry of Peace all on this new program thing.
Yeah. So Yuri Geller here tells us the plan is to remove Babylon 5's support system, then take it down rather than martyr anyone. They seem real concerned about martyring people over there. After this, we cut over to Centauri Prime, where Londo is getting the fuck out.
Yeah, smart move.
Yep.
I had kind of forgotten what happens with Londo after last episode, so I was like, he's not going to be emperor yet. He's prime minister, so what happens? And then it starts to unfold.
Yep.
They need basically a placeholder right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Londo tells Minister Verini that they've decided to appoint a regent. And
Promotion!
Verini's like, who would want that job? That sounds terrible.
I hear the wage is great. Oh, it's me!
And he talks about, it's just a ceremonial role, kind of a placeholder. Oh, this is the perfect job for Verini, right? He wants new curtains. He can handle that.
Right, yeah. Topic number 1, redecorating.
Yeah. Ceremonial role, he was born to play this part.
Over on B5, Jakar visits Franklin, who makes sure his eye isn't infected. He gets some painkillers, and there's talk about setting him up with a prosthetic eye. A functional prosthetic eye.
Yeah. Yeah, the Nard apparently don't have their own, prosthetics, what with the, mass drivers and all. But Franklin thinks he can rig up something from human prosthetics. Yeah. Jakar's doing bits on Franklin here that Franklin's super uncomfortable with.
Yeah, he's all like, we'll see if we can make it work. And he's just like, oh, will it be as good? It's all like, well, don't stand too close to power sources and stuff. And
he's like, I don't know what they got my eye with. I only saw it from this angle.
Right? It's so tragic. I laugh so I don't cry. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
And that's his
Yeah,
vibe,
you
too,
think-
the whole time.
Franklin is just not... He hasn't figured out that humor yet, I guess. Or he didn't expect Jakar to not be so serious about his current situation.
Yeah. Franklin asked Jakar why he didn't take the job as leader of the Narn. And he's just all like, man, nah. Power, nah. The cost of power is always much more than it's worth.
He's not wrong,
Yep.
as we will see.
Over in Garibaldi's bathroom, he's shaving. Did you clock he has a Daffy Duck soap dispenser?
Aaron pointed that out. He was like, I bet they were selling that at the time. Like, you go into the Warner Brothers store or whatever in the mall, and there's a bunch of Daffy Duck soap dispensers.
You can't watch a Warner Brothers movie without a Warner Brothers ball cap.
For sure. He gets a message like we've seen before. Whenever we've seen a sleeper agent awaken, they get one of these magic eyes
Mm-hmm.
that just fucks your brain.
If you stare at these things long enough, you're supposed to see some kind of hidden three-dimensional picture.
Oh, yeah, look, it's a sailboat.
Yeah, this is real ominous. We don't see like a instant turn or anything.
He goes and erases his sad face in the mirror and then immediately resigns.
Yeah, no, he erases the sad face. He deletes his browser history
Yeah.
and then goes and resigns. Like, but it's not as dramatic as like when Talia
Killing
turned.
some-
That's what
yeah.
I'm getting at. Like,
sure.
hers was a very explosive episode, and this is just like a whoop, change in direction. Do these things now.
Yeah, I think this is more of a nudge than it is a full-on
Yeah,
hidden personality thing.
yeah.
It definitely feels that way.
Mm-hmm.
We come back from commercial and we get a Disney Planet reference. That's fun.
Yeah. Where's Disney Planet? I want to know.
JMS commented on this where it's all like, yeah, so, once corporations start taking planets, then Disney would go make Disney Planet and then they'd have two.
Yeah.
The implication being that they also rule Earth.
See you at Disneyland. Bring money.
I mean, it's logical at this point, right? Once
Yeah.
we get that far,
Mhm.
Disney's going out there.
The senior staff is like, no, don't go. You're so good at your job. I did not buy any of this for a minute from them. I don't know if it was just the
Yeah.
acting or if they're just like, you've been such an asshole lately that this is probably good news. But it just felt like they just could not care.
Yeah, and it's so weird because we didn't know anything about what he was up to while everybody else was out saving the galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He talks about how he's going to go and help people and start Garibaldi's homeschool security school.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait. Detective agency. Yeah. Garibaldi's homeschool security detective agency. That's what we're going to do.
Oh, man. That sounds like a winning proposition.
What follows after this is one of the best scenes in this series.
Zach Allen trying to instruct the new recruits.
Yeah, Zach Allen's got a class of newbies for security. He takes them to Space TSA, and he's just like, you can't be here too long because it gets terrible. Trust me. And then Londo walks in. Excellent banter. A+. Londo admits to killing the Emperor.
Yeah.
And not only it's just like, well, I had to kill the Emperor to leave Centauri Prime. You say over your dead body, I'm back. You're just going to have to wait your turn. I'm a little tired right now. Like, Zach's next.
But, Zach is like, he's like a little puppy, kind of. So I think that Londo is safe doing this, right?
Mhm.
Because it's just going to kind of go over his head.
Yeah.
I like that there's a couple Narns in the newbies.
Yes, I caught that.
Still using the Narns in our security force.
Yep. Just as soon as Zach regains composure from sparring with Londo, Bester comes in.
Yeah.
I assume my regular quarters in the brig are ready for me. No notes, Bester. A+.
Yeah.
And then Zach gets pinged. He needs to go to the captain because of a problem with Mr. Garibaldi. What follows is beautiful. Zach's like, I'm out before the second coming walks in that gate, right? Being the second coming of Jesus. Laura, you're a person who's spent time in churches. Can you tell me what heralded the first coming?
The first coming of Jesus?
Yeah. There were
Isn't
a couple
that, like-
things, right?
Yeah. Are we talking about Christmas? Or are we talking
We're
about...
talking about Christmas.
Okay. The three wise men.
The three kings. And who walks in right after he says that line but three Elvis impersonators? The three kings.
Three kings.
Heralding the second coming. It's so good. Oh,
that is very nice.
I laughed so fucking hard. I was just like, oh.
That's very poetic.
It's so good.
Oh, man.
After this, we're in Garibaldi's quarters, and he's very poorly folding his uniform into a box when Xhafer comes to visit. Garibaldi feels partially complicit to Jakar's suffering. He was only captured because he had left to go look for him. And Jakar's like, look, you're safe. I'm alive.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow through all this, my people are free. This is literally the best possible outcome. You know, it's an outcome so good I couldn't have anticipated it. You have nothing to feel bad about. I owe you gratitude. Because if our friendship had not developed to the point where I was willing to risk myself to look for you, I wouldn't have been able to find a way to save my people.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been in the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Had a big cost, but it was a cost he was willing to pay.
For sure. I don't think Xhafer considers what he's gone through a cost at all. I think in his mind, this is the bargain bin version of what you would pay.
Yeah, because I think he is, willing to, like, John 3:16 this whole thing, like, lay down his whole life for the freedom of Narn, and he didn't have to. He laid down an eye, Small price to pay.
If we ever do merch, we need a Xhafer 3:16 shirt.
Yes. Reef of Madness and Xhafer
3:16. Yep. And then Ben can sell his little homeschool security graduate certificates.
Yes.
Mine's up in the office. You can't see it. It's above my plant right next to me, but...
Yeah.
Sheridan put Zach in charge of security while they figure out what the hell's going on with Garibaldi. The general consensus is that this is just him having a moment and will pass. They bring in Lita to protect them from Bester. His ISN starts talking some shit.
Yeah. We've banned all travel to Babylon 5 for any Earth ship. Good thing that the Elvis impersonators made it here before the ban, right?
Right? That could have been bad news. Yeah, the president has instituted a totally legal, very safe ban on travel to rogue state Babylon 5, who we all know have a terrorist plot. It's very obvious. You'll all see it later. I have no problem having a terrible Trump impression. It's really just the cadence. Zach goes to get Lita for their Bester meeting, and she's all like, it's his job to hunt me, right? Like, you're aware. He has feelings.
And I'm pretty sure Lita knows at this point that Bester is not a match for her anymore. Like,
yeah.
But they don't know that. But I don't know. If you've been hanging out with the Vorlons, I think it's a safe assumption that, like, maybe we are safe with this person from Mr. Bester.
Yeah.
I love that we didn't just forget about her empty apartment.
She's got a bunch of stuff in bags. They're all labeled Zocalo and stuff. It's a nice touch.
Yeah. She's been on a spree in the Zocalo. She's trying to fill up her empty space with stuff.
Mm-hmm. More importantly, she's like, where the fuck is my invite to the after episode bar chill?
Yeah.
I know you guys do it. We've seen it on camera a couple of times.
Yeah. Yeah. Why
no one
can't
wants
I
to
come
have
hang?
dinner, right?
And Zach, says it's, because of her association with the Vorlons. It's a
Yeah.
little touchy now. But is it just that, we've seen, mundane humans around telepaths in this show?
Yeah.
They're not super comfortable with most telepaths, right?
No. And Zach's like, I'll help you unpack and I'll bring some pizza. And she's just like, not you, the actual main characters. Very
Right.
much the vibe as she gets escorted to the meeting room.
Right.
Londo and Jakar see each other at the Zocalo. And
Mhm.
Jakar's just like, smoke bombs, peace, bitch. Hope you better never see me again.
Pocket sand.
I wasn't expecting so much aggression from Jakar. I mean, having seen the series
Yeah.
a number of times at this point, I forgot that he was so aggressive to Malari in this scene. I mean, I understand why, but
They're square now, right? Sort of.
I mean, ish. I don't know that they could ever really be square,
Right. Right.
but it's not as bad as it was.
Right. So, I mean, I get why he's aggressive. I didn't remember it either. Yeah, but Babylon 5's not a big place, so hope they don't run into each other again.
Yeah. Over at the conference room, Bester is offended at having to even share a table with Lita.
Yeah, gross.
And he's just
He's
like,
very
"What-
classist.
Yeah, she's a P5. It's not like she could stop me anyways. And I'm just sitting here like, please try, Bester. Please fuck around. Please fuck around. Please fuck around. Please fuck around. Knowing what Lita can do to him at this point.
Right. He's got the goods, so he knows from presumably the mundane head of Psi Corps that they're in phase 1. We're getting the disinformation campaign painting Babylon 5 as terrorists.
Yeah. And then there's phase 2, but we're not going to talk about that yet. Because you need to give me a ride to Zaha Doom so I can try and save my girlfriend.
Yeah, apparently girlfriend has still been on ice this whole time.
Yep.
In the Babylon 5 med lab?
Mm-hmm.
Morgue? Question mark? Not sure.
Cryogenics, yeah. There's a
Cryogenics,
cryogenics,
okay.
yeah. Bester, we get a little camera thing, which is supposed to be Bester's psychic presence, going and checking on minds and just getting shut out instantly by everyone.
Yeah, all he can hear is what everyone is speaking. He cannot hear the thoughts.
Yeah. So he starts to fuck around a little, and he starts to find out a little, but backs off immediately. But Sheridan does agree to give him a lift. Bester actually has some details. It's Black Omega Squad is going to destroy the blockade and blame it on Babylon 5, so they have to go wreck these Psi Corps ships.
Yeah.
I
we learned
don't believe this for a fucking second.
Okay.
Obviously it's what happens. We've seen the rest of the episode, and Bester has an entire testimonial to get you to buy in that he was willing to sacrifice Black Omega for his girlfriend.
Uh-huh, right.
I think that's completely out of character. It doesn't read like Bester to me at all, especially with the books and his telepath supremacist views and stuff.
Yeah.
These are arguably probably the most powerful telepaths. They're definitely the best psychops because Bester only works with the best of the best. I don't think he is willing to sacrifice 6 telepath loyalist lives for one blip, regardless of personal association.
Especially 6 that he trusts explicitly. Black
Yeah.
Omega, we've learned in the books especially, was his baby. And he put them through a lot in order to be able to trust them. And he knows that, Psi Corps was and especially Earth Force was fucking around with the shadows. He's not into that. Is he really going to sacrifice 6 of his most loyal servants, I guess.
Why doesn't he just take Black Omega and go to fucking Zahadum himself? He has no need for the White Star.
Oh, yeah. That's an interesting idea, isn't it?
I mean,
Like, is
there
he
wouldn't
just
be an
trying to, like...
episode plot, that's why. But
Yeah. Is he just trying to, like, hide behind the Vorlon technology in the White Star, like, hoping that
Probably.
would help in some way?
maybe, yeah. Just, you guys have done it before a couple of times, and ships typically don't come back, so you clearly can do this. I don't know that I can. Like, there are reasons, but it just feels like his ego, I don't think, would prevent him from, like, oh, Sheridan figured it out, I'm going to be fine. You know, like...
He's just a mundane, right?
He's not even a particularly bright one. Like, you know?
Mm-hmm. Dazzling teeth, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe he's replaced his loyal servants in these Star Furies, perhaps?
Maybe. I mean, that'd be a play, for sure. That'd be in line with him, is have some other Psi Cops in there for a minute to get blown up.
Yeah.
At the very least, save
Unfortunately,
a
it's
couple
just
of your
not something
dudes.
the episode can get into.
Yeah. After this, Zach goes to Garibaldi's quarters to get the codes. The station, like, shut down emergency codes. And Zach lets him know he feels a bit betrayed by this resignation. Have you seen a coworker leave a job and then have people feel this way?
Have I felt this way about a coworker leaving a job? I mean...
I don't get it.
If the shoe fits? Huh?
I don't understand it. Like...
Yeah.
If someone walks out that door on their own terms, I am genuinely congratulating them for their career advancement every single time. I have been leading a team and had been, like, we had just lost someone was out and someone else was out on paternity, and someone else finds another gig, and it's just like, I am actually, like, truly short-staffed due to circumstances that are a bit out of my control. You know? Like, enough shit has happened in rapid succession, and I still genuinely was happy for them. You know? Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't understand this mindset, like, of... I mean, you are making things harder for everyone who stays, but good for you. You're doing the thing, you know? Like, go do the thing. Whatever that thing is.
No, I don't think that it comes from a place of, like, oh, you're making my life harder. I think it's just like... Man, sometimes you feel close to people and you're genuinely, like, sad or jealous to see them leave you. I don't know. As long as you don't get crazy with it. I think it's a normal human emotion.
Fair. I mean, there's definitely complexity and stuff to it. But anyways, the chief is telling Zach he's taking a chance on himself, like he took a chance on Zach. And Zach's like, oh, fuck, fair enough.
Yeah. I think that there's a healthy response to that. What is not healthy is how the emergency codes to lock down the station are lost somewhere in Garibaldi's quarters. We've got some real bad password security again here.
Yes, it's terrible.
And they're just, like, in a bag in his sock drawer, I guess. Like, somehow. Don't understand it.
Yeah, it's just like, of all the things, why this? But it's very Garibaldi.
It is very Garibaldi. Very homeschool security.
Over on a White Star, Sheridan and Delenn talk about hoping for a few days between crises. And Delenn's just like, bullshit. I have a dream where you're on a beach with nothing to do and your head explodes because of it.
Yeah, that's starting to be his MO, isn't it? He's a little bit of a workaholic.
For sure. Ivanova brings in the cavalry and saves the blockade squadron, letting them know who sent them. Bester confronts Lita about her psi level jump. He tells her that she has a moral obligation to share her path to growth with all human telepaths, and she's like, fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, could she even comprehend what the Vorlons did to her?
No, I don't think.
She'd have to be dissected, basically.
And even then, who knows if that would actually turn up anything that would be remotely useful.
Yeah. Like, is humanity even at a point to recreate this enhancement?
Probably not.
Doubtful. Yeah. And now the Vorlons are gone, so we'll,
Yeah.
not going to get any shortcuts to it.
Mm-hmm. When they arrive, they see a bunch of ships evacuating Zahadum. Sheridan pulls the ship away on instinct as the planet self-destructs.
Yeah. I guess they left some of those nukes in their own core.
Right? You got enough of them. Bester gets a few minutes outside the cryopod to reaffirm his actions were totally in character, you guys.
Totally in character. Just gonna monologue this here to my frozen girlfriend.
Right? Just to let everyone know that my actions, 100% in character, nothing to worry about there.
Yeah, and it just seems a little out of character for a telepath to sit there mouth talking. So this does seem like it is for show when you look at it that way. I know it's also for the audience,
Yeah.
but he doesn't need to do this.
No. Sheridan drops on to check on Lita, but also to just blame her for the planet blowing up. Oh, hey, just want to see how things were going, and also to just say, hey, did you blow up that fucking planet?
Yeah. I mean, there was like one little look on her face
Mm-hmm.
in that scene that I was like, oh yeah, she did it.
She totally did it. And he's like, fuck you, you don't get to make those decisions. And then leaves.
Yeah. What do you really think Sheridan would have made a different decision though?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think he
He's
would
just
have.
mad that he didn't get to say it first.
Yeah. Well, Lita probably doesn't have a full picture of all the operations that are going on and stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can understand from a need to know information basis that there might have been something else that was more important there. Ranging from a plot to strand Bester on Zahadum to they actually needed something there. I don't know why Sheridan's just like, when they bring it up in the first place, he's like, oh, you want to go to Zahadum? It's a big crater. I was there.
I mean, I fried it.
7 episodes ago, and let me tell you, not a lot left.
Yeah. It's surprising there's anybody left to evacuate, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, man, that could have been really useful to know what races or people were there evacuating.
Yeah.
Might have been helpful.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Zach shows up with pizza, and then we're back to Sheridan, who finally takes a minute to go, oh, should we have followed those ships, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Wish I could have done something about that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like I can make my own jump points in my starship.
Right. And then we get now Regent Verini is woken up by his keeper
Yeah.
to end credits.
These things are creepy.
They're so I mean, they're supposed to be, but
Right.
I mean, that's their name too.
Right.
Like, it's keeper with a capital K. Like, that's the
Yeah.
name of their race. Ugh.
Yeah. Are they their own race, or are they like a technology of a different race? Do we know?
Spoilies.
We don't have to spoil these.
Yeah, there's some spoilies there for later,
Yeah.
so we'll save it.
But it's definitely an alien.
yes.
It's got a single, like, orange eye,
Mm-hmm.
pops open all creepy like. I kind of feel bad for Regent Verini. All he wanted was new curtains.
Well, he got him.
Yeah.
And that's the episode. On a scale of 1 to 5, how did you feel about this one?
Well, after the, like, drama of the last episode, it is sort of, I don't want to say a letdown, because that has kind of like a negative connotation to it,
Mhm.
but, it's just not as action-packed. I always love
Sure.
when Bester shows back up.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, this is kind of, back to average. Like, we got really ramped up in the last episode. We had our 5s, no notes, no changes. But for me, we're back kind of in average town. What about you?
Same. I put this as 3 of 5. Bester just felt so out of character to me.
Yeah, it is weird. Bester feels out of character, and then for me, the Garibaldi stuff isn't defined enough yet
Mm-hmm.
for me to really feel it. What's happening with him?
Yeah,
I do like that Lita gets to show up Bester.
I did appreciate that a great deal.
That's a fun touch.
Yeah,
Very happy.
and that
No
scene with
notes
Zach
there.
was priceless.
Yeah.
But besides that, that's really the only stuff that I'll ever think about this episode. As we referenced multiple times, where it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about this little thing that was weird. There's a lot of that this episode, and it shows that it's not that important, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. We're setting a bunch of stuff up again. We're just reminding everybody that, like, hey, just because the shadows are gone doesn't mean everything's over and done with. And something else mysterious is going to be coming.
Yeah, it's still more dominoes to be set up to lead us to the end of the show at this point.
Yeah.
Which we'll continue on to with Season 4, Episode 8, The Illusion of Truth. A propagandist news reporter visits Babylon 5. Sheridan receives bad news about his father. Franklin tries to save the cryogenically frozen telepaths.
Oh, no. I think we'd wondered what happened to Daddy Sheridan. Papa Sheridan, let's call him that.
Yeah, there's been no news. Normally, no news is a good thing, but not when your dad's really old and his health wasn't great.
And he was being sought by a fascist government. Doesn't seem great.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to finding out what happened.
And I look forward to spending some time with Jeremy Siegel's May album, which is out now. And as this episode airs, June will probably be out, but it isn't as we're recording, so no promises there. You can find more of Jeremy's work at jeremysiegel42.bandcamp.com, on Spotify and other streaming services, Nuclear Jaguar. Jeremy, thank you so much for our theme music. We really appreciate it.
And thank you to Angry Duck Time Machine on Instagram for our podcast artwork.
Aaron, thanks for spending the time to edit our podcast and make sure that it's listenable instead of rambling trash. Really appreciate you.
There may or may not have been rambling trash in this episode that had to get
a bit edited,
sliced out.
It's fine. It happens. And then thank you, listener, for spending some time with Laura and I as we talk about one of our favorite shows. We really appreciate it. You can join our community on Discord, whoareyoub5@gmail.com. We've got a Twitter that I never check and a Facebook that at least pushes stuff to my phone so I see it pretty quickly. But yeah, interact with us there. The Discord is the place to be. So join that.
Yeah, we'll be happy to have you.
And we'll see you next week, Internet.
Bye.